So, it turns out, master's degrees, and I don't know if you knew this, they're quite intense. Whack the kettle on. Hi. We are now 3 full weeks into my master's degree experience at Mount View studying musical theatre, and I am knackered. Like, super grateful. Can't believe I'm there dreaming every single day. But knackered. So I thought I'd give you a little back to school extravaganza, because how often at the age of 30 do you get a true excuse in September to make a video with a back to school theme? And in my case, I had 3 different back to school experiences, which was fantastic. So I'm gonna run you down each of them, because we began with my induction week, which was an info dump in lecture form. Every single day we'd show up and it'd be like, this is how Mount View works, these are your course leaders, this is what you're gonna do, this is what you're gonna do, intro to singing, intro to acting, whatever, all the rest of it. Every single time I spoke to someone, every single new bit of information I got, I was like, this is the right place, this is the right time. There's even a sign outside, which I saw on the very first day I got off the bus. The first thing I saw was this poster, and that just, well played, Mount View, well played. But I'm getting ahead of myself, because before the induction week even began, I was doing back to school shopping. We have to wear like simple grayscale clothes, so black, grey, white. Partly because they don't want to be distracted by the clothes, like, oh, that's a pretty top, or wow, what an interesting sigil or emblem you've got. What an interesting slogan that t-shirt has. But primarily the reason is because they're working clothes. Spoiler alert, you go to drama school, not only do you sweat a lot, but you're also writhing around on the floor. So I went to Westfield, I had a little look around. I also knew I wanted a new water bottle and a new backpack, so I was having a little look for those. And I realized while I was around shopping, oh, hang on, I get student discount now. And I haven't really fully got my head around it and taken advantage, but it was thrilling the other day when I went to pick up a hoodie, because Mount View can get quite cold. And the cashier was like, oh, we have student discount, are you a student? And I was like, yes, I am, showing off my little lanyard. I'm ecstatic about that.
There are some things that I haven't been able to source while I've been out and about. I needed a bike tard or a unitard for, I assume, dancing. You can't find those in H&M. So I've been on to, I think it's Dance Direct, and I've bought those, but I'm not sure what size I am. But then these are supposed to be fitted, and I don't know what that is gonna fit like, and it feels like when I did some measurements, I was in the middle of 2. So I bought the bike tard in large, the unitard in extra large, and we will try them on and see which ones fit and send the other ones back. Also, I feel very strongly that they should come up with better names for these.
But enough about that, I know what you're really here for.
Well, hi, and welcome to Stationery Corner. One of the first things I've done is rejig my desk setup a little bit at a time. Not going all in just yet, but I bought a new desk chair because my other one, it's not the right height for this desk. It's not meant to be a desk chair, it's more just like an occasional chair. I'm an adult who owns an occasional chair. I actually have 2. But you're not here to talk about chairs, are you? Because you're here to find out about the one thing literally everybody has mentioned to me when I told them I was starting a degree. It wasn't, oh, congratulations, you're gonna live your dream. It was, wow, you can buy a new pencil case. And I'm here to disappoint you and let you know that I haven't bought a new pencil case. And the reason for that, I can't find the ones that everyone thinks about when they're wanting me to buy a new pencil case. The sort of can of 7-Up, Pepsi, zip it at the top. Those don't seem to exist anymore, at least not in the shops I'm going to. Did they die with Woolworths? No, every place I go to now has like an aesthetic pencil case or a bougie little pencil case that also doubles as a makeup brush holder. Instead, I've kept my pencil case that I've been carrying around with me for a few years now. Because look at the nice compact size it is. It holds a nice, respectable number of pens. So, pens. I watched a lot of Back to Uni vlogs. There are a few people whose vlogs I find immensely comforting, and they buy lots of dark academia things, and we're talking pens with nibs and quills. And I went to Muji and I saw all of these really nice, pretty, beautiful pens. And I just thought, why when there's a Ryman next door and it's half price? So I got Ryman stationery, lads. First of all, this is my favorite type of pen. I really like writing with this pen, it feels very nice. So there's a whole pack of them there. And while I was there, I also picked up, because when you're out, ones in pastels for maybe making notes on scripts and things like that. I don't know, like, look, they're pastel. Because I like the idea of colour-coordinated notes. Maybe this is the year I manage it, who's to say? Well, since I'm colour-coordinating, I also got pastel highlighters. Highlighters are a very important thing for an actor, and I think traditional neon highlighters can be quite oppressive. Yes, I've thought about that. So instead we've gone the pastel route, and I have pastel ones already, but I think you'll agree, this size is quite cumbersome. Sticking the thingy on, the lid never feels safe when it's on, does it? On the other hand, this, come the fuck on. This situation, bang, on it goes. Oh, I'll just highlight that. What an interesting thought that was. Oh, are these my lines? Just highlight those. See? Much better. Do I need 6 highlighters when I have 3 perfectly good, if cumbersome ones? No. But let me remind you, half price. And the last thing I got was this. I have never started a university academic year without a Pucker project book, and I didn't intend to change that now. I'm gutted. I'm gutted. The pastel pens are not pastel ink, they're just black ink. It even says so on the packet. It says it right there. I just didn't spot it. That is so cringe of me.
But as much as I love a PowerPoint presentation, what I was really here for were the practical classes. So then when we came to my second back to school week, which was the open space project, I was ready to hit the ground running. Now let me tell you about this. We didn't fully know what we were getting ourselves into, but then when we walked in, we were in this little black box studio situation, and it turned out it was all about something called viewpoints. Viewpoints are like the foundation of acting. So it's all things to do with, oh my God, there are 9 of them. I can't remember them. Tempo, duration, kinesthetic response, architecture, topography, all to do with your physical presence in the space you're in. Because the first thing we see when we go and see a show, really, to know that the action has begun, is a physical body in a space. Whether that is someone just walking on stage. Think of Chicago. If you've seen the production of Chicago, you walk into the auditorium, there's a hat on a chair, and the first thing you see is someone in a gorgeous body stocking, the most unreal, attractive person you've ever seen, walk on stage, pick it up. And that is your first introduction to the play. It's a body in space. We're sort of just walking around the space, and then we start walking very, very tall or very, very small. What does the architecture of the room make you want to move like? So are there bricks? Do you want to move in a very hard fashion? Do you like the tall lines of the bricks? Do you want to move like that? Like the curtains, they're flowy. Do you move like the curtain? If I explain it to you, it sounds really wank. I would go to the bathroom and walk back past the window and see my classmates doing all of this, and maybe just like feeling and making spaces and moving like this and making shapes and gestures. Gestures, that's another one. And I'd walk past it and be like, this is the most actor looking thing I've ever seen. Like if you had to do a parody of what actor training looks like, it looks like this. But when I walk into the room and I start doing it, oh my God, it just makes so much sense. It felt so alive and it felt so present and real, and I was in the moment, and it was absolutely fascinating. And I feel now, as a result of having done it, like I've got the foundations for the rest of the year. This is the foundations of acting. At some point in the future, I'm going to be working on a project and I'm not going to be able to crack it. I'm going to be like, why does this character do this? What does this character move like? What is going on around me? How am I feeling? Sod it, let's just do some viewpoints. And I quickly learned that there are no wrong answers in it. It's like, how does this curtain make you want to move? All right? That's a massively open question, and you might feel stupid trying to answer it. But the second you start trying to answer it, you start to sort of get it. If that's how it makes you want to move, great. There is no correct or incorrect response to that kind of exploration. So I'm all about it. We absolutely loved it. Open space was great. Also, we had this tutor, his name was Barry. Would die for Barry, honestly. He was so generous and open and thoughtful and interested and interesting. And again, he kind of made it feel like whatever we were bringing or contributing to the class, or even whatever we were taking away from it, that was correct. That was exactly why we were there. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend you get a Barry in your life. Oh, maybe I'll sit on this side of the frame. That's better. The sun's moving. It's the winter time. Here we go. By the time we've reached the end of the week, I think we were all itching to get started with the skills classes. We got our timetable and it said, here, this morning, you're going to have this class, this class, this class. And we were all looking at it and sort of chomping at the bit to get going. And boy, we did. Good evening. This is the 3rd official back to uni week. This one feels like the proper one because skills classes have started. And this feels like this is what I'm here to study. We are here to do this master's degree in musical theatre. It's all go. So this week I'm all about trying to figure out what my routine looks like. I have designs on going to the gym before I go to school. And my gym opens at 6. So that gives me sort of 2.5 hours to play with and figure out what I want to do. Today I just did my usual trick though. I got up at about 6 and today I watched YouTube actually. Sometimes I've been watching Frasier. And then we went into skills classes. I had dance this morning, which was a hard pass from me. I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad we did it first, because for me, dancing is the one that I always knew was going to be a struggle. I danced a lot when I was a kid, haven't danced properly, I'm gonna say, in about 20 years. And I decided to spend my life living primarily as a pretzel. While I really struggled and I felt very demoralized in the middle of it, I was like, oh my God, I'm in over my head, maybe I'm not supposed to be here in the middle of the first class. By the end of it, I was glad I'd done it, and I realized, okay, I'm at the bottom of the mountain. Week by week by week, I'm gonna track it with a little journal. I'm gonna track it on here, tracking it over on Patreon and the Voice Note Club. And hopefully we're gonna see improvements to my fitness, my flexibility, but also just, oh, dinner time.
Hello, hi, editing Dan here. Just going to jump in, seeing as it's dinner time, to let you know I've just uploaded a voice note to my Patreon to let that gang know that I've already felt a massive improvement in my experience in these dance classes, and it's only been 1 week. So it's just funny looking back at past Dan being like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever manage it. And this week I'm already feeling the improvement. So, oh my God, I'm doing it.
Then we went on to singing, which is far more comfy for me. And it was lovely. It was ensemble singing. So we were given some sheet music. And I can't tell you, when we're standing up in a little semicircle around an upright piano with the song in our hands and we're singing with each other, oh, I felt so cozy. Oh, I felt so comfy. I was like, right, this is what I needed. And then what I really needed was what came next, which was sight reading. So let's say, here's my book. Funny story, I'm reading at the moment. You can join me on the book club on my Patreon. I'll take this book, I haven't read this chapter yet, and I'll just start reading it to you. When Peter reaches us, there are 2 full seconds of silence, as if all 3 of us expect someone else to speak first. Hi, Peter says finally. Hello, I say. Miles stays silent, probably for the best. I think he's too innately friendly to give Peter the chilly reception he deserves. So that's sight reading. I'm reading it sight unseen. I'm trying to look up from the script. I'm trying to give it the performance it needs. When I figured out that's what the class was, I was elated because that's what I've been doing for my job. Reading off an auto cue, when I'm doing questions in an interview, when I'm hosting a screening and I have a mic in my hands and some cards and there's information they want me to get across, but I'm trying to keep it alive and I connect with the audience and I read something and it's what I do. And I felt absolutely, I was like, oh, I'm good at this, yes, I know what I'm doing in this class. And others of my classmates found it really stressful. It made them genuinely nervous and they were uncomfortable and they were feeling exactly how I felt in the dance class in the morning. And I'm looking at them and they're doing so well. They're really good at it. So it stands to reason that even though I'm in my head in the dance class and I'm feeling really nervous about it, I am nowhere near as bad as I think I am. If that makes sense. That's at least what I'm trying to take. I'm choosing to take from the class. But yeah, that was day 1. It was every single discipline in order: stressful, comfy, thrilling. I'd like it stated for the record that I did set my alarm for 6. I even went to bed at like 10:30. Then I just couldn't get to sleep. And then I had a dream that I was late for school and that stressed me out. So I didn't make it to the gym before school today. That's not to say it won't happen in the future. Oh my God, I'm so exhausted. I'm sitting on the toilet. Not actually sitting on the toilet. We're not there. We will never be there. First singing lesson proper that I've ever had, really. We were talking about lowering my larynx, so I would sing, "No one has ever loved me." That's what I would normally do. But we tried to sing it as, "No one has ever loved me." And I've got to try and remember what it feels like to lower the larynx and lift lift the soft palate. It's hard. This is hard. But this was class 1, so I'm sure we'll get there. And then we had ballet, and that was really sweet because I was really nervous about that class. Those of you who've been around for a while know that I did ballet when I was younger and stopped because in the 90s, boys don't do ballet if they don't want to get bullied. So going to buy my ballet shoes was a big moment for me, but also quite nerve-wracking, made me very nervous. And I shared that in the class because the teacher was asking us for things we were excited about, things we were nervous. And she said that me just going to get the ballet shoes was very brave, and she asked, did I feel that bravery? And I said yes, and then I quietly had a very little cry to myself while everyone else shared their stories, and hopefully no one noticed. I don't think they did. So I'm gonna give myself a little treat, have a bath, and then get another early night for another early start tomorrow. Will he make it to the steam room? Who's to say? So I was running early today. I'm ready, might as well head out the door. Did, got the tube, nice and easy, ride the London Bridge, got on the train. I was like, wow, I'm gonna be 40 minutes early, that's fantastic. And then there just wasn't a driver. So I ended up getting a train that left 15 minutes later. So now I'm just bang on my normal schedule. So really the lesson here is, what's the point of trying? This is a corridor that is good to come and work and get a little bit of quiet in. I like to refer to it as the Dame Judy bench. Yeah, the dance classes got easier as we went. The acting classes were the ones where I felt the most at home. I think that's my strongest suit. But the way that we were talking about it as well, every time it got referred to as the work, my heart swelled 3 sizes. There were certain elements of the principles and the beliefs in what acting is that were being taught to us through these classes that made me just feel like, ah, yes, mate, this is everything that I've been thinking and feeling, and now I get to put this to practical use, and I'm honing my craft, I'm working on my craft, I'm a craftsperson now. That's not to say it hasn't been really, really fucking difficult, because it absolutely has. I crashed hard on Thursday. We had a movement class that was really interesting, and I liked it, and I wish that I could have dove harder into it, but I'd skipped breakfast and I hadn't brought lunch with me, so I went out and I wolfed down a sandwich, and by the time we were in the middle of the class I was like, oh, I'm really not feeling it. And then we went out that evening and we had these plans for going to a shopping centre and going for dinner and maybe a little bit of mini golf. I was so tired that I could barely walk around. My bones were aching, so I needed to just come home. We whacked on Agatha all along. And it was a really lovely evening, but I need to take care of myself. I need to know, okay, on that day, I need to make sure I have the right amount of snacks to keep my energy up. No day can I skip breakfast. It would actually be really helpful if I could prepare lunch and take lunch with me, because going out to get something is taking up time that I could otherwise be spent resting, focusing, maybe a bit of meditation, maybe some yoga, maybe working on my singing class material. I don't know. Those are all the things. But the key thing, and this is where I'm going to end it because the sun is really getting in my eyes here, the key thing that I've learned over these 3 weeks is to lead with gratitude always. When I was younger, I would have been so tunnel vision, narrow-minded, completely closed off to the open space project. What's the point of that? I would like, sod off, shut up, like, why are we doing this? Just act. Let's not take it that seriously. We're only acting. But actually, I understand this thing that I've loved my whole life in a completely different way, just from 1 week of exercises. Also, this course is very, very quick. It's going to be over in a flash. I'm already 3 weeks into it, and it is a very expensive course. There's no bones about it. So I want to make sure I'm getting the absolute most out of it. I can't phone this in. I can't half-arse it. I simply will not. So the best way to do that is to remind myself every day when it's really exhausting, when I am aching and clutching onto the handrail to get up to the tube. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So many people want this, and I'm one of the few that actually gets to train to do it. I am incredibly grateful. And I go back to that sign on the wall, which has become a little bit of a mantra for me. Everything in its own time, at the right time, and this is my time. And for that, I am so grateful. Gratitude first, always. And also like a nice soothing Epsom salt bath.